This is amazing. In case you missed Charles' wonderful introduction, I'm Mariel Weintraub. I am president of the U.S. Hemp Authority. So the U.S. Hemp Authority, for you who don't know, is a certification program. It's our industry's initiative to provide high standards, best practices, and self-regulation, giving confidence to consumers and law enforcement that hemp products are safe and legal. I am also a voting member of the Hemp Roundtable, which is a coalition of dozens of hemp companies representing every link of the chain, from seed to sale, and all of the industry's trade organizations. So just as a quick primer on how I discovered CBD, as a neuroscientist, and I have to shout out to Texas Christian University. Everyone else is from Texas. That's great. Go for it. I've always been fascinated by how we can increase our health and well-being. That's really where my journey with CBD started. I was hearing all these amazing anecdotes about how CBD has helped people. CBD, or cannabidiol, was first isolated in 1963 by Raphael Mechoulam. He's an Israeli chemist. He's really considered the grandfather of the whole industry. So a lot of research on CBD was done in Israel in the 1960s, and it continues today. It's where we continue to look for information about the mental and physical effects of CBD. It's important to understand that there's been a huge boom in interest in hemp products, including CBD, meaning that the science is now rushing to catch up with the consumers. These studies revealed that phytocannabinoids bind to receptors on the endocannabinoid system. This is a system found in the human body, and it's believed to play an important role in homeostasis, affecting bodily processes such as appetite, mood, and sleep. The endocannabinoid system and its receptors are found almost everywhere in the body, including the brain, glands, and immune cells. For instance, are any of y'all runners? Have you guys, I don't move for running either. Have many of you guys heard of a runner's high? Okay. So I was always told that feeling of euphoria was from an increase in endorphins. Well, it turns out, however, that there are two endocannabinoids, so these are naturally occurring cannabinoids in the human body, AEA, known as anandamide, and 2-AG, can be found. And what they found in this study is that a portion of that runner's high was actually attributed to anandamide. It's not all endorphins. So I'm sure you've all heard about the two different sources of CBD. CBD can either be derived from high THC cannabis plants or hemp. Hemp-derived CBD is biologically identical to cannabis-derived CBD, with the benefit of always containing less than 0.3% of THC, meaning it's non-intoxicating. That's a huge benefit. You put all your attention on the positive effects of hemp and hemp-derived cannabinoids like CBD. Now let's look at the three different types of CBD isolates. There's of CBD products: isolates, broad spectrum, and full spectrum. You've got a glossary that will be available to you explaining all this, but here is the simple explanation. CBD isolate contains only CBD. Broad spectrum contains some of the hemp plant, but not all. And full spectrum contains all of the hemp parts. When you've got a full spectrum product, you may benefit from something called the entourage effect. The entourage effect tells us that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So when you're using all of the plant, such as the cannabinoids, terpenes, flavonoids, and so on, they work synergistically to increase the effects. So how do you know the product you're taking even contains CBD? So this is where I come from. The U.S. Hemp Authority certification program was developed originally as a self-regulated organization. To get certified, companies need to meet the stringent self-regulatory standards of the U.S. Hemp Authority and pass a yearly third-party audit. So now for the fun question, how many of y'all have tried CBD? It's really important to remember that when you try CBD for the first time, to start with a lower dosage and work up from there. How many of y'all have taken a supplement that a friend recommended but it didn't work for you? will all respond differently. This means that you're beginning your CBD journey safely and listening to your body to understand how it is responding, and you can titrate up the dosage until you find the one that works for you. Now, I know a lot of you are wondering the big question: is CBD legal? The answer is yes. It is legal. The U.S. Farm Bill states that hemp and all extracts of hemp, including CBD, is legal for sale. Where we get a little sticky is with the FDA. So the FDA has been monitoring companies for what I like to call low-hanging fruit, and it is easy for them to report on and send warning letters for any disease claims being listed about products. This is why, especially in regard to CBD, it's so important to talk about your products as a part of a lifestyle without giving medical advice or making any medical claims. The FDA just held a public hearing about CBD, and we're hopeful that we're going to see some interim recommendations emerge over the next several months. Now, I heard you're all getting a sneak preview of the new CBD product. How excited is everyone? So this market is growing so rapidly, and I want to encourage everyone to learn more about hemp and CBD and see how it might fit into your lifestyle. In fact, it's one of the fastest growing categories I have ever seen. Hands down fastest. So that means there's a lot of exciting new opportunities for you. Although we're all lucky to be a part of the dietary supplement industry, I would like to remind you that there is still more research needed on hemp and CBD products. Like all dietary supplements, please remember that if you do take prescription medications, to check with your doctor before adding any new product into your routine. And I feel very honored to be able to share my passion and expertise about hemp and CBD with such a wonderful crowd. All right, I'm still in shock. I know that CBD has changed my life, and I'm so excited to see how the industry continues to evolve. I'm looking forward to learning what science discovers about the benefits of hemp and hemp-derived cannabinoids like CBD. And I very much thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, at the end of this I will be in the store. So please feel free to come introduce yourself. Once again, thank you guys so much.